The Supreme Court of Appeal has struck down legislation which led to the loss of South African citizenship when acquiring that of another country. The DA took the Home Affairs Department to court, calling it a draconian piece of apartheid legislation. Let's get perspective on that ruling now with Fyfe from Werksmans Attorneys. Kyle, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. So in your view, was this a reasonable judgment to a piece of legislation described as irrational by the court?
Yes, I think it was not only reasonable, I think it was a very good judgment. As the court pointed out, there seems to be no good purpose to having this rule that strips people of their citizenship if they obtain citizenship somewhere else. And it seems to me that, the citizens' rights were being unduly limited here. There's a number of important rights that flow from being a South African citizen that you would lose.
Of course, one of the contradictions that the court highlighted is that, while if you've been naturalized elsewhere, you lose your South African citizenship, South Africa recognizes dual citizenship, and it's really also trying to correct that contradiction.
Yes, so again, there seems to be no rational reason to distinguish between people who obtain citizenship of another country from the time that they're born, for example, and people who make a choice to take up citizenship in another country for various reasons. It could be, due to marriage or due to work. And so I think that's exactly correct, that there shouldn't be this artificial distinction.
When we look at previously those people that would have lost their citizenship but applied to the Home Affairs Department, effectively to the minister, to regain it, do we know the kind of success rate that they would have had?
So it's not so much that you would lose your citizenship and then apply to regain it, but you apply to keep it. And my experience of that is if you did apply, often that application was just granted as a matter of course. But the bigger problem comes in that a lot of people actually didn't know about this rule at all. And so in many cases, people would just go and take up citizenship in another country and lose their citizenship. And once you've lost it, it's actually much harder to get it back, because then you have to come back and live in South Africa to apply for South African citizenship again.
Which part of the population would you say is mostly affected by this piece of legislation? And I'm asking this question, Kyle, off the back of some of the figures that we're seeing about South Africans actually opting to leave the country and to go start careers elsewhere, live elsewhere with their families, but still very much say that they have the intention of coming back someday, whenever that might be. Yeah,
so I think it would actually affect a broad range of the working population. I mean, there's people from all spheres of society that leave overseas to do different jobs at different skill levels, ultimately with the intention of possibly coming back to South Africa. So I think it will have a fairly large impact.
What happens now to those people that may have been affected previously by this legislation and, as you said earlier, have lost their citizenship?
So, interestingly, the court took a fairly powerful step of actually ordering that anyone who has lost their citizenship is deemed to have never lost it at all. So they will actually be considered to be South African citizens. The only thing that still needs to happen, of course, that this needs to go to the Constitutional Court and get confirmed by the Constitutional Court. But assuming that happens, it'll be as if nothing ever changed for them. They'll still actually be South African citizens now.
And what happens between now and then, Kyle?
So for now, the order is on hold almost, and people will be, I think, keenly watching this now that they're aware of the problem to see what the outcome is and how it will affect their rights. And if confirmed by the Constitutional Court, then the order will become fully binding.
All right, Kyle Fyfe, thanks for your time.